Hi everyone, and welcome to the Walt Wines Instagram Live. We are on today with a very special person that I've been really looking forward to for the last few weeks, who has an incredible way for you to take home some fun ideas to pair cheese and wine. But before I do that, I wanted to just thank all of you. It's been a couple weeks since we came on, and if I'm a little rusty, it's because of that. We've had some important things to talk about. Not only do we want to take this opportunity to thank the frontline workers, the first responders, those people are keeping us healthy, they're keeping us fed, they're keeping us safe. But I also wanted to just say that we're going to we took a minute because we thought it was appropriate for the voices that wanted to be heard, that needed to be heard, that had been long ignored, to have that chance to say something. And we fully support what's going on with Black Lives Matter. But we also understand that it's all about bringing people together. And a lot of the ways that we bring people together in the Sonoma Coast and in the Napa Valley is through wine. So we wanted to resume this week because it's a lot of fun. We can have a lot of fun doing it, and we can continue to spread that message. So thank you so much for your patience and for letting us have that time, and I hope that you will support that. But without further ado, I wanted to bring on a new friend of mine. We just recently became friends as a new book launched, and she was really amazing to come on the show to help not only promote her book, but to talk about cheese and wine. For those of you who are playing along at home, we have two incredible wines we're going to taste today. The 2018 San Giacomo Chardonnay from the Sonoma Valley and the 2017 Blue Jay from the Anderson Valley. Those wines are available on our website. You'll find them you'll find the San Giacomo in our virtual happy hour sales that are happening online. You can check them out and have them shipped for $1 if you order 3 bottles or more. But without further ado, I've found my friend. There's Marrisa. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you today? Oh, wait, she's almost there. Through the world of the internet, we're going to meet up. And there she is. Yay!
Hello. Woo,
Hey.
we made it.
Yes, we did. All the way on the East Coast. Thanks for joining us.
All in the East Coast. It's still sunny here, which is amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
7 p.m.
7 p.m. How hot was it out there today? You guys getting the big heats?
No, we have the most beautiful weather right now. I don't want to jinx it. It's been like high 70s, sunny every day. It's like California weather.
Yeah. Actually, today it was perfect Pinot weather for us. We had nice, even cooling. Normally, I'm sitting outside in my backyard, so you'd see the wind of the Petaluma Wind Gap blowing behind me.
Oh,
But
so
today,
nice.
we're going to talk about what you do. So, you are the author of That Cheese Plate. You also have a website called Cheese by Numbers, I think, if that's right. And you teach That Cheese class, the original Build Your Own Board. You've been on Rachel Ray. You've been on the Today Show. I think you were on the Late Show, or at least you worked for the Late Show for some time.
I did, yeah.
And you've been on Live with Kelly and Ryan. So, I mean, tell me about Ryan Seacrest. What's that all about?
He's an awesome dude. He's a great guy. Yeah, it's crazy because my life was not cheese. Cheese has always been a part of my life, but my professional career was always in the entertainment industry. So I worked at Late Show with Stephen Colbert for the past 4 years for John Batiste, who's the amazing band leader on the show.
Yeah.
And I started this Instagram, That Cheese Plate, back in 2013 as a way to just document my cheese plate creations because it was just a hobby I had.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, it grew into this amazing community that I have today. My book came out a month ago, and it's just a place for people to find inspiration for any style cheese plate and to take all of the guesswork out of it. So when you look on Instagram, you see all these intimidating, creations, and Cheese by Numbers, which is my method to put a cheese plate together, really breaks it down step by step. So there's no questions asked, and it's super easy and simple.
So for those of you who are playing along at home, it's That Cheese Plate. This is backwards, I realize, because it's Instagram, but by Marrisa Mullen. Big star in the making, has the most amazing, just literally cheese by numbers. And it's how I put my cheese plate today. And for those of you who want to see what you can put together, that's what it looks like when you're all
Beautiful.
done.
It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. But we came on to talk about wine and cheese at the same time. So I don't want to miss pouring you a glass of wine, if that's all right.
Oh, thank you.
So I have in my hand, this is the 2018 San Giacomo Chardonnay. And I'd love to pour you a glass, and we do this through the internet, if that's okay.
All right, let's see if the connection is there.
The connection is there.
All right, I think I got it.
You got it?
Oh, thank you.
Cheers. It's
Cheers.
amazing.
Woo.
Here you
Such
go.
great technology in 2020, you know?
You know what? We can do anything. I think we put our mind to it these days. It's just, it's just an incredible thing. Well, while we have people coming on, I wanted to ask you just a couple questions so that our viewers can get a little bit of a flavor of what you're about. And also, I would love to learn more about you, if that's all right. So we call this rapid fire questions. This is,
All right.
I'm sure you've seen this on late night before.
Oh, yeah.
So super softball, 5 words or less.
Okay.
Was there wine on the table at your home?
Yes, every night.
Favorite place to vacation as a kid?
Montauk, New York. But before it became what it is today. Back when it was like surfer and gritty
all right.
in the 90s.
And that's more than 5 words. You're cheating.
Sorry.
All
Okay.
right. It's okay. What shoes do you wear in the kitchen while you're preparing your cheese plates?
I'm usually barefoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an app you use to reference information?
Google.
Google. Google's an app. I'll give you that.
Sure.
Has it been going full time for the last few months?
Since April 2019, full-time cheese.
Full-time cheese. And the last bottle of wine you shared at a restaurant?
Oh, yesterday, rosé with my friend. It was, what's the name of it? Flor something rosé. It was really good.
It was Walt
rosé.
Wine's rosé. We make a beautiful rosé.
Yeah,
it
was Walt.
Absolutely.
Actually, funny story. I actually brought 2 bottles of your rosé to the beach 2 nights ago with my friend, and we drank both of them, which probably wasn't the best idea on the beach. Yes, it is so good.
Yeah.
It was like 6 hours worth of beach time. So like we didn't pound them right away, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
Love that.
It goes in those little cooler boxes. You can put it in a corksicle. Off you go.
It was great.
So I wanted to have you, so cheers. I want you to
Cheers.
try the wine. It's I know probably 7 o'clock out there. It's 4 o'clock for us here.
No, I've been waiting, you know.
Well, you shouldn't have. I started without you. I'm just kidding.
Ooh.
So this is the 2018 vintage. It was a big year. So we had a big crop that year, but the quality of the wines were just incredible. And this is from a vineyard called the San Giacomo Vineyard. Within that vineyard, they have a like sub vineyards, and it's called the Green Acres Vineyard. And this is actually the first vineyard that the San Giacomo family planted. They're one of the first grape growers in the Sonoma Valley. Before that, there were tree farmers, and as that became more and more difficult to do in California, they actually transitioned over to grapes. After a night of drinking, Angelo San Giacomo basically said, we should try this, we should get into this. And so they specialize in Chardonnay. Quite a few producers make it. And the reason that a lot of producers make it is because it's one of the finest examples of Chardonnay that we have in the Sonoma Valley. So I get a lot of those apricot pear flavors. I use some of those on my cheese plate. That's coming up. And I love just the overall viscosity in the brioche toast. What did you think of the wine?
I love it. It's so bright. It's not an oaky Chardonnay at all. It's definitely like very bright on the palate. And I taste melon almost.
Okay. Yeah.
And like tropical fruit. Yeah, it's really nice. It's very pleasant.
Well, thank you very much. So I didn't want to waste any time. You're a professional cheesemonger. Is that the right word for it?
Cheese plate stylist. Yes.
Stylist. I like it.
Cheesemongers are usually work in cheese shops, and they have been studying cheese education to it's basically like a sommelier of cheese. That's a cheesemonger or a certified cheese professional. I am a cheese lover and cheese food stylist and know a lot about cheese, just haven't taken the professional test yet.
Yeah, there's a great photo of you in the back of your book. For those of you, I couldn't take a picture of it and put it on my Instagram, but this was like my favorite picture.
That was in Point Reyes in California.
Is that Point Reyes?
Yeah. Yeah, that was an amazing aging room. There's 17,000 wheels of Toma cheese in there. It was crazy.
Insane, right? Like you walk in. That's how I feel in a winery. When you walk in and it's just barrels from floor to ceiling.
It's amazing.
I'm home.
Yes.
So, I was hoping that you could take us through your method of how to style a cheese plate, because I didn't know how to do it and I figured it out. So if you can teach me, you can teach anybody.
We're going to do it. So I'm going to flip you over to my cheese cam,
which
is a stack of books on a shelf on my, here we go.
Yeah.
Hold on. You can see
Did you learn that at the Today Show, how to produce that image?
Oh yeah. This is just from being on Instagram with no tripod. All right, so this is my board. So before you get into the cheese by numbers method, you have your foundation. So this is just a wooden board and a ramekin to hold any jams. Today I'm using this awesome Black-owned company called Trade Street Jam. They're based in Brooklyn. And this is blueberry lemon basil. So we'll add that in step 5. Step 1 is cheese though. So what we're gonna do is take our cheese, and today I'm using a Cabot cloth-bound cheddar. So this is from Vermont.
Oh, it's good.
It's so good. This is from Jasper Hill Creamery. Actually, both of my cheeses today are from Jasper Hill. They're one of my favorite producers in Vermont. And I chose this cheese because the Chardonnay, so this is our pairing for the Chardonnay. And the Chardonnay, it has notes of toasted hazelnuts, tropical fruit. I tasted melon, and the cheese is kind of sweet and nutty in itself as well. So what we're doing is we're pairing the cheese with the wine because they both have the equal amount of intensity. When you're doing wine and cheese pairings, you don't want to you don't want to use too strong of a wine to overpower the taste of the cheese. Same thing with like the cheese. You don't want to pair like a really heavy pungent blue cheese with a light wine because it will overpower it. So you want to do like similar intensities. So we have this beautiful cheese for our Chardonnay. And then for the Pinot Noir.
And just really quickly, so this is step 1 in your book. So
this is step 1.
For those of you who haven't had a chance to check this out, she lists out where these cheeses go on the board so that you don't have to do what I'm doing right now and just follow along. You can just do this by reading the book. It's great.
Yeah, so this is cheese by numbers in real life. So this isn't a pre-existing plate. This is a new one we're making. So another way that you can pair wine and cheese is matching funky cheeses with fruity notes. So this is a funky cheese, which is Bailey Hazen Blue. It's a beautiful blue cheese from Jasper Hill. And I decided to pair that with the Pinot Noir because of the sweet and salty contrast. So the Pinot Noir, I tasted like blueberry, almost like baking spices. And this cheese actually has like a toasted nut flavor to it. And it actually since it is pungent, the sweetness of the wine really balances out that flavor. So we have both of our cheeses on the plate. This is the foundation. We want to just separate them apart. So step 2 in cheese by numbers is meat. So I have a term that I coined called the salami river.
I love
what we're gonna do.
That was, I mean, honestly, by far, that's when I knew I was home.
Oh, it's
river
the best. So,
of salami.
Exactly, river of salami. So we're gonna take our salami and fold it in half and in half again to make this little shape. And what I like to do is do it a few times. So like take about 5 or 6 slices and press them together because they tend to fall apart easily. Look at your board and determine where you're going to flow your salami river. I'm thinking like this is a nice spot right here. So I'll just start to pile it on. And it's okay if it falls over because once you get all the salami on the plate, you're golden. So I did pre-folded because, movie magic, saving some time.
So it's really important in California that we protect our rivers. So, I mean, is there like a no-no that I need to watch out for to make sure that, I'm not, going off board here?
You can do whatever you want. I feel like with cheese plates, it's your own creative expression. So you can go off the walls with it if you want to. You can make a salami, salami dam or a salami tsunami, whatever you want to do. But the river is nice. The river is nice because it adds a really good focal point for the board. And also a fun tip is that when you're serving this and you take a piece out of it, it kind of accordions out on its own. So it's like a ever-filling salami river.
Okay. And for those of you who are at home, I want to make sure you're asking questions. So if you have any questions for Marrisa, please let us know. We would love to have those displayed for you on our Instagram page.
Awesome. So the next step is produce, but I'm sort of going to do a hybrid of meat and produce, step 2 and 3, because we have prosciutto wrapped cantaloupe. So like I said, with the Chardonnay, I did taste kind of the melon taste. So I wanted to put a melon on the plate to tie in that flavor. And I'm just taking prosciutto and wrapping it around the melon. This is such a good snack. It reminds me of just being in Italy. It's so delicious. It's that sweet and salty flavor pairing that we love. And I'm going to do probably about like 3 slices. So there's another one.
And so this is the produce portion. This is number 3.
Yep. So this is kind of like a blend of 2 and 3 since we're putting meat on the produce, but this will be step 3, which is produce.
And 2. Okay. And you can see the salami river here that she's building as well in her book. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
So we got our
Now my river's more like a lagoon.
That's fine too. Salami Lagoon. It works either way.
Okay.
Salami Pond.
Hmm.
All right, so now we have these gaps on the plate. We're going to fill in the rest of the gaps, our gaps with our produce ponds. So we have our
Hmm.
Salami River produce ponds, very like landscape
Wow,
theme, you know?
that's cool. All
So
right.
I have these awesome Vineyard cherries, which are so beautiful in color. And this
Uh-huh.
kind of ties into our flavors in Pinot Noir. You know, sometimes you can taste some cherry notes in there.
Oh, for sure. I think in Blue Jay we're going to get a lot of red fruit, a lot
Yeah,
of probably a darker currant cherry, but definitely some cherries in there. Okay.
yeah. And then so because of the Blue Jay, since we have those berry flavors, I have blackberries and blueberries. So I'm
Okay.
going to fill in some more gaps just to
Uh-huh.
kind of fill up the board, make it look very full and abundant. I also like to work with symmetry. So I'm putting some blackberries there, some around here.
So
And then lastly, oh yeah, go ahead.
this is going super fast for you. How long would you, and this was actually a question that we had, how early should you make or late should you make these cheese plates before guests arrive?
Yeah, so you can actually make it whenever you want because I'd say like day of, definitely. But if you're feeling under pressure and you want time to make this, because for me, I feel
Uh-huh.
like it's a very soothing activity and I like to give myself time,
Hmm.
you can put it in the fridge and store it until the party. So if you
Okay.
ever put it in the fridge, make sure that you take the dry items off the plate. So don't put any crackers or nuts in the fridge, but this
Got it.
will be perfectly fine in the fridge. And for me, like when I make a cheese plate, I like to prep everything ahead of time. So like what we
Hmm.
have here, I prepped my salami, I pre-folded it. So then when you put everything together, it's really easy.
Yes, you are clearly well ahead of me right now. I'm trying to keep up.
Oh, no worries. Ready? Okay. So
Okay.
next step, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So now we have crunch. This is step 4 of cheese by numbers.
Yes.
So I like to do little cracker stacks
Oh,
per
different
se.
crack. Okay. Uh-huh.
And I'm using
And you
butter
use one of my
crackers.
favorite local bakeries. You use the Rustic Bakery, I saw.
Yes, I love rustic crisps. Those are or rustic crackers. They're so good. They have
Okay.
my favorite is they have like a sour cream flavor cracker, which is actually
Oh,
amazing. So good. So I'm going
I
to
will check that out.
insert some of these
Uh-huh.
crackers.
Okay.
But what we also want to do is serve a cracker plate on the side,
Hmm.
um, because when we make a cheese plate, we want crackers on the board to get people started, but you don't want to overload the board with too many crackers because then it might be a little distracting.
Got it. And so
And
I read and I followed directions. So this would be an appropriate amount of crackers for, say, maybe 6 people.
oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's
All
great.
right.
And you
Very
have
cool.
your cracker plate on the side. Perfect.
I do. I'm ready.
Awesome.
I follow
Okay,
directions well, Marissa.
you got this. This is great. So also with the Chardonnay, I noticed flavors of
Hmm.
toasted hazelnuts.
Okay.
So I wanted to sprinkle in some little hazelnuts. And this is when we fill in our gaps. So
Okay.
fill in all of the rest of the gaps on the plate with your nuts.
Got it. No, I love pistachios. I'm not sure they pair well, but I saw that you used them, so I just went ahead and threw in some pistachios. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, pistachios are great. The nuts are almost like a nice little filler.
Hmm.
I feel like nuts go well with every cheese. You know, they're really easy pairing. So this is kind of like a way to fill in the gaps, then also give people a crunchy element for the plate to snack on.
Oh, okay. And then in general, I know you've got one more or two more steps, but in general, how much cheese should we be looking at? Like, what does this plate look like to you as far as number of people?
Yeah, so this plate I would say is probably, it depends on like what your purpose is for the plate. So something like this, if this is an appetizer, it can serve probably, 4 to 6, maybe 8 people.
Okay.
You say about 3 ounces a person, and that would be probably like, that much of the cheese. So we have a lot of cheese on the plate, but if this
Hmm.
is like your dinner and it's the meal, I would say it could be like 2 to 4. So it kind
Okay.
of, you have to consider what the occasion is for your cheese plate.
Excellent. Okay. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So now you're
Oh,
on
no
to
worries.
step 6, or where are we
Step
at?
5, we are
Step
on
5.
dips. So
Ah,
I have my nice jam and it's blueberry basil. So this is
okay.
nice tying in our blueberries and also the blueberry notes in the Pinot Noir.
Hmm.
And I'm just gonna fill my,
I have blueberry jam.
oh,
So
amazing.
so
Perfect.
we are on the same, well, Blue Jay, I figured.
Yeah, blueberry, blue
Okay.
jay. And my finishing touch is actually still in my fridge, so I'm gonna grab it.
No problem. That's all right.
Which is the best part of the cheese plate, which is your garnish.
Uh-huh.
So let's see.
Yeah, so I grabbed just some rosemary.
Yeah,
doesn't
perfect.
necessarily go with anything, but it was pretty.
So I have rosemary as well because I love how it looks. I love how it smells. I've also been working on my garden, which is not fully ready yet, but I have some pansies in there, which are edible flowers. I also have some mint and basil that I like to use. But with our rosemary, we're just going to basically stick the end into the cheese plate so it looks like it's growing out of the plate. So I'm gonna put one like right there.
Awesome.
And then again, work with this symmetry. So like on the other side now. And maybe I'll do a few more.
So for those at home, I just turned off the commenting because this looks amazing and I wanted to make sure everybody can see it. I'm going to put the commenting back on in just a second.
Also, look at this lighting going on. This is really pretty.
Yeah. It's
Nice,
very
golden
Twilight
hour.
East Coast. We're sitting on the beach with a bottle of Chardonnay.
Yes. Perfect. And there you go.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
And so you put that together just now, right on the fly. But the fun thing is that I was able to do almost the exact same thing. Now, mine's not nearly as pretty, and it's totally not
that was like
typical.
very fast, so I'm very impressed. This is like turbo mode.
You were, but I would say, so for those of you at home, I was able to make this in less than 30 minutes. And this is a cheese plate that would probably serve, you think, more like 10 people in the...
Yeah, that's a pretty big board. That's probably, I'd say 10 as an appetizer for sure.
10 as an appetizer. Well, you haven't seen my family. They may be down here by 4:30. They've already been seeking out the cheese. So that is really awesome. I wanted to go ahead and do some pairing with the Blue Jay since we talked a little bit about that. We had talked about the wine. So we make Pinot Noir from as far north as the Willamette Valley all the way to the Santa Rita Hills. So if you haven't been to all of these different places, that's from basically Oregon to Santa Barbara. We cross about 1,000 miles of Pinot Noir. And this is the furthest north we go in California. So this is from a little place called the Anderson Valley, just north of Sonoma by about an hour. Really delicate wines. This is tough to explain, but it's on a northwest to southeast valley that receives all of its fog influence really from right out in the Pacific Ocean. And it's the really cold part of the Pacific Ocean, not that southern part of the Pacific Ocean that you get when you're in LA or San Diego. The wine tends to be more delicate. And what I thought you nailed was that pairing with the blue cheese and really brought together. So Blue Jay is named for I was just reminded that I need to make sure that commenting goes back on. There we are. So it has more red fruit, blue fruit, and then on the entry, it tends to be more delicate than, let's say, the Sonoma Coast, which is darker and more lush fruit, I guess would be a good way to put it. But what did you think, and how do you think it pairs? I know you had a head start on our viewers.
I did. I mean, when I taste it for the first time, I definitely tasted those berries at like the very first sip. It's really fruit forward. You taste like the blueberry, the dark, like did you say there's currant notes in here?
Like a currant, almost like a dried currant is the way I get it.
Yeah. And it's definitely, it's different than other Pinot Noirs that I've tried recently because I feel like it's very, it's like on the sweet side versus like the more gritty, like you can taste those like baking spices, which really come out well with the blue cheese because this blue cheese is actually something that is sweeter and it's not one of those like hit you straight in the face. So they really do complement nicely, but I love this.
Thank you.
This is such a good wine.
So Blue Jay is named for the citizens of the town. So Boonville is the nearest town, city in the Anderson Valley. Not a lot of people live there. There's about 200 people in the total town. So you can kind of blink as you pass by it. And there's no reason to go there except to find wine grapes. But they have their own language. And in that language, which is called Bootling, they call themselves Blue Jays. So you would say, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm going to go pick up some Blue Jays and we're going to go wine tasting. And they would say ball horning, which means good drinking. That's cheers in Bootling.
Oh, I love that.
So ball horning to you, Marrisa.
Yes.
We have some questions coming in.
All right.
Judy's asking me if I'm out of Sierra Mar. It's going to release this fall, Judy. Don't you worry. This is actually the most important question that I had, which was, what are the appropriate
Ooh.
cheese knives? I dragged in a few.
Oh, you got a skeleton knife, cheese planer.
So this is a skeleton knife. Is that what that's
Yep.
called?
So and that's usually good for like a brie because then the gooey brie won't stick to the actual knife because there's the holes in it.
That's actually what I use it for, which is incredible. All right.
Yeah, you got it.
And then this, what is
cheese
this
planer.
knife called? Cheese
So
planer?
that's a cheese planer, but that's kind of a hybrid because it has that serrated edge. So that would be good for something like a semi-soft cheese, like a Havarti, or something that's not too hard so you can slice into it easily. And the cheese planer works to make little slices like for sandwiches.
Got it. Yeah. So my wife is from Sweden. Have you ever had Västerbotten cheese from?
So I have not, but I've been hearing about this cheese a lot lately, which is so random because Västerbotten, it's the emperor's cheese of Sweden. It's like the most popular cheese in Sweden, and
yes,
I haven't tried it, but is it similar to a Parmesan, just a little sweeter, right?
It looks like a Parmesan, right? Because it's a big round, but you have to use a planer knife to cut it. Super salty, very fatty. You want to get the middle part of it. So my wife is from Sweden, and so every time we go there, if you've ever been to Stockholm, NK has a whole cheese bar. And I sat with a cheesemonger 20 years ago, I think, when I met her. And he took me through Västerbotten, and I was just like, this is amazing. And that's how I got into cheese. I was just getting into cheese and wine in those days. But
that's amazing.
I will send you some because I get it. So
that's awesome.
When I can find it. You can't get the real Västerbotten in the United States because of all these weird food laws we have. So if I can slice you off a chunk, I'll send it out to you. So.
Oh, thank you. That's so exciting. I love trying new cheeses.
Let's do it. So these are bigger wines, right? Pinot Noir tends to take on it's more flavorful, I think, than some of the more I'll just call them ethereal northern wines. How about for rosé, Sauvignon Blanc? We make Sauvignon Blanc for our hall label, and you were talking about rosé. So what kind of cheeses would you pair with those wines?
Yeah, so more of the sort of delicate wines, I would pair more with a delicate cheese. So something like a fresh goat cheese or a mozzarella or feta, something that doesn't really overpower your taste buds. Like you don't really want to pair a rosé with a really sharp cheddar or an aged Gouda because that flavor will just completely wash away all of the tasting notes of the rosé. So something like that would go beautifully with like a soft ripened goat cheese or a fresh chèvre, or even something like a mild brie of some sort.
Okay. How about a Wisconsin cheese? Wine Chick 59's wondering.
Oh, I love Wisconsin cheeses. My favorites are probably Pleasant Ridge Reserve, which is from Upland's Cheese. It's like an Alpine style. They also, Wisconsin just produced the world's oldest cheddar, which is 20 years old. They just released it. It's like $200 a pound or something crazy. I haven't been able to try it yet, but I'm dying to because that's just insane.
Yes, the Romano Conti of cheeses right there. That's the most expensive Pinot Noir in the world. Oh yeah, there you go. Nice wine and cheese pairing with that really sharp cheddar. Yeah, and so you're also working cheeses. On Thursday, you're going to start, you're going to delve not only into wine, but you're going to delve into olive oils. So yes, I'm so excited. So I've loved the world of olive oil. It's almost like wine and cheese in a way. There's so many different varietals and so many different nuances of the taste. And someone who I met last week, her name's Skylar. She is the only Black olive oil producer in the world, or one of the only ones. And her and her husband have an olive farm in the south of Italy. And she makes this amazing olive oil called Exau olive oil. So on Thursday, we're going to do a olive oil tasting. So kind of a guided what to look for when you try it. And then we're going to make a version of the burrata bar plate in my book, which is burrata with tomatoes, basil, the whole bit. Yeah. I was all over that one. They also have, for the skiers out there, an après ski plate. The book starts out with just a really good, simple way to learn how to make cheese boards. And then she goes into actually different types of cheese boards. So you can just keep making, there's 200 different things to do. So that will keep my kids busy for the rest of it. In fact, wanted to go ahead and just bring the children in since they've been knocking on the door. They're gonna go ahead and enjoy the rest of the cheese plate if
Oh
you guys want.
yeah.
Wanted to
Awesome.
thank you so much for coming on. Here you go, guys. This is
Hey.
Marrisa, and she made these cheeses. These are all my little daughters. It's going to be kind of hard to see.
Hey,
For
what's
those
up?
of you there.
Enjoy the
So
cheese. Yay.
yeah, so she taught me how to make this, guys.
Really?
Yeah, so you believe it or not, that's Sawyer, and then Elin and Lucia can come into the picture. So I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on today and for being so generous with your time. I know
Of
that your
course.
book tour got canceled, so I would just encourage you to come see us out
Yes.
here. Just
Oh,
make it a
I'm
one
ready.
stop, one way. You can go back, I guess, if you need to. But
Yeah.
and then for everyone at home, we have the it's good, Lucia. We have the chill and grill going on right now. Father's Day is this Sunday, and it's a great way for you to get some wine for Dad. It's an amazing set of 4 wines. Check it out at waltwines.com. Marrisa Mullins, thank you so much. Marrisa
Thank
Mullins
you.
is that cheese plate will change your life. It's changing mine right in front of you. So thank
Art
you
with
so much.
cheese. Of course.
Thank you
And
so
thank you
much
for
for
the amazing wine. I'm going to be drinking this for the rest of the night.
good. Good. I hope you do. And let me know when I can fill that stock back up.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Have a great afternoon. Thanks everyone for joining us. Cheers.
Bye. Enjoy the
Bye.
cheese
Say bye,
plate.
girls.
Bye.
Bye.
uh, and and now.